So the Flash is finally back from its millionth break this season, and oh my god, did they come back with an awesome episode, because my theory of who Zoom, Jay Garrick, the one that died, and Iron Mask are might be true. A lot happened in this episode, like getting the origin story of freaking Hunter Zolomon, aka Zoom, and man, was it awesome. Before we talk about that, let's talk about all the other things that were not as important or exciting. The first thing is, if you didn't pay attention to the beginning of this episode, you might have just missed the connection between the Flash and the Supergirl crossover. At the start of the episode, you see Barry wearing the tachyon device, which he wore in the Supergirl crossover, and he's getting ready to test it out. And you see him at Keystone City, which in the comics is the home to Wally West and Jay Garrick. Anyways, Barry starts running to test out the tachyon device, and when he's running, he's like, guys, I can go faster, and he freaking goes, pew! When he turns on the turbo boosters, he goes through a breach and disappears for a second and then reappears through another breach and ends up at Star Labs. When he shows up at Star Labs, he's like, I'm back. How long was I gone for? Cisco, Caitlin, or Iris don't say anything because he wasn't even gone for that long. He was gone for like a split millisecond. Cisco just says that he went 4 times faster than his previous record. Instantly, Barry's like, for real? And that's it. They don't mention anything else about Supergirl. He doesn't talk about, hey man, I totally met this girl on another Earth and she's super powerful and she's awesome and she's cute, blah blah blah. You don't get any of that because Harrison Wells walks in and he's like 4 times faster. He's like, now you're even faster than Zoom. And finally, the intro to the Flash actually makes sense again because Barry is the fastest man alive until the end of the episode where Zoom takes his speed and he's no longer the fastest man alive. So for a majority of this episode, the intro makes sense. Since Barry knows that he's faster than Zoom now, he automatically wants to open up a portal to Earth 2, and Harrison Wells is like, hell nah. Wells doesn't want to help them, so Cisco, Barry, and Caitlin try to figure out a way to freaking open a portal to Earth 2. After nothing works, Barry gets the bright idea that maybe Cisco has the power to open up the breaches with his vibiness. Cisco can't do it by himself, but Barry finds this spot where they should be able to open a breach. He still can't do it. Harrison Wells shows up after saying he's not gonna help, but he talked to Joe, and Joe was like, dude, Barry's gonna do this no matter what. You might as well just help him out. So Wells actually fixed freaking Vibe's glasses so Cisco can use them, and bada bing bada boom, he starts opening up this freaking portal and quits halfway. Because Cisco is scared, he feels that if he starts harnessing these powers, he's gonna become like Vibe from Earth 2. He also makes a Star Wars reference, thinking that if he gets all this power, he's gonna become Vader and join the dark side. It was pretty nerdy cool. Barry tells him it'll never happen because he has family and they're gonna protect him from becoming that kind of person, so Cisco eventually agrees to open the breach. Before all that, there's some things going on in the West family. Iris cancels a date because she thinks that maybe she belongs with Barry. Flash writers, whatever you do, do not turn this into an Olicity situation. On top of that, Wally moves into the West household, which turns out to be a bad idea later. Before our crew opens up the breach to fight Zoom, Caitlin talks about how Jay's doppelganger was Hunter Zolomon, and this strikes a nerve with Harrison Wells because he says Hunter Zolomon on Earth 2 was a serial killer. At the start of this episode, we saw the origin to freaking Hunter Zolomon. As a child, he saw his father murder his mother right in front of his eyes. Then he got sent to an orphanage because none of his family members wanted him. The dude later grew up to become a serial killer and kill like 23 people. Wells also talks about how Hunter Zolomon was getting shock therapy, like freaking to his brain at an insane asylum when the particle accelerator blew up on Earth 2, and that's how he became Zoom. The team finally opens the breach. This leads to a Flash-Zoom foot race. Zoom is captured by being distracted by his parents' photos. They freaking shoot a thing around his leg that keeps him locked to the ground. Him and Barry have a heart-to-heart and says, he's like, you know what? We're not so different. You could have been just like me. Barry, all arrogant, is all like, psh, I would have never been like you, bitch. Barry continues the confidence thing, saying like, you're not gonna get anything from me or anybody on any other Earth. Zoom, being a badass, says, you can't lock up the darkness. Ow. Freaking goes and freaking knocks off the thing and disappears. Barry starts running all over the place and he's like, no! We find out later that Zoom took Wally West to Earth 2. He left a little special note on the wall of his brand new bedroom, basically saying Barry needs to give up his speed in exchange for Wally's life. We see Wally in the freaking Earth 2 dungeon along with Iron Mask again. We're gonna talk about him in a bit. Barry obviously knows there's nothing he can do, so he says he will give up his speed in exchange for Wally's life. Zoom shows up with Wally. He gives them to them. They say, Wally, get the hell out of here, and then a whole freaking Q&A starts with Zoom. While the crew is doing sciencey shit to transfer Barry's speed to Zoom, they start asking him a bunch of questions, such as, we saw you die, how is that possible? Cisco says speed mirage. Zoom is like, ha, I'm not that fast. And this is where it gets interesting because freaking Zoom went back in time and got a past version of himself, a time revenant version like Reverse Flash. He got that past version of himself to help him carry out this whole plan. He convinced his past self to let him kill him. The next question, freaking Barry asked, who's the dude in the iron mask? Zoom says, ha, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Shit's getting juicy. This is when I totally got a chub because, oh man, I have mentioned this in past videos. I said that freaking Jay Garrick could totally not be Jay Garrick. Is Jay Garrick actually Jay Garrick? It is very possible that we're not just dealing with Earth 1, Earth 2. We could be dealing with other Earth or future or past freaking Zooms or Jay Garricks. He could have been the rival. He could have been a clone. He could have been a future or past version of Zoom, which he totally is. So that means we've never met Jay Garrick. Because in the rest of the episode, the crew asked, why would you dress up and play hero? And Hunter Zolomon said, because it was just so much fun. His freaking past version was playing the role of Jay Garrick, so we've never met Jay fucking Garrick. Which brings me to my Iron Mask theory. I said that freaking Jay Garrick is more than likely the guy in the Iron Mask, and Zoom just said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, because if he's like, oh, that's Jay Garrick, who's gonna believe him? He's been lying about this whole thing because they thought they already met Jay Garrick. This shit is crazy. Now, I did say I'm possibly on the right path because I do have an alternate theory to the man in the Iron Mask. I said it could be Henry Allen, or the guy that plays Henry Allen, because remember, when freaking Barry went to Earth 2, we saw the old school Flash. So I was talking about how maybe the dude in the Iron Mask is another Flash that Zoom captured. So my theory right now is whoever the man in the Iron Mask is more than likely the real Jay Garrick or freaking Flash from the old school Flash show, because they showed him in the freaking time vortex when Barry traveled to Earth 2. Go back and watch some of my last Flash videos. I totally go way more in depth about these two theories of freaking who Iron Mask is, but man, it totally looks like I'm on the freaking right path. Oh man, I can't believe this is going that way, and I hope it is, man. If Jay Garrick is freaking in the Iron Mask, they just had a Keystone Easter egg. Oh man, oh man. Keystone being the home of Jay Garrick and Wally West. Shit might just be getting real, people. Also, at the end of the episode, Zoom is gonna kill Barry, but Caitlin's like, no, don't kill him, and he ends up just stealing Caitlin and taking her to Earth 2, so that happened. I want to know your guys' theories about everything that is happening right now. Who is the man in the Iron Mask? Did you agree with my freaking past future Zoom theory before this episode aired? Maybe I'm completely wrong and you have a better theory of who the man in the Iron Mask is. Let me know in the comment sections down below. Guys and gals, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with all your speedster buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, guys, I am your host, Juicebox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Beep!